the Yeshiva now. She responsible. Nishma Sam Yakashon Lava Yitzchok. We're starting. We're the Zara Dabim Zayin. We're starting a few lines down. The Gemara says, "Boy Rishlokish Hamishtachave leDekel Ulovoy Ma'u leMitzvah." Person who bows down to the dekel, can he use the lulav for a mitzvah? If it was planted for that purpose, so of course, why the fila head nami also, because it becomes a Avoda Zara. Talking about a tree that he planted and then he worshipped. The fila head nami also. Yeshiva said that when you plant it, then you worship it, it becomes also. We ask Le'inyon mitzvah mai. When you say that for the head it is mutter, Charlie is legabi gavoya, is it a problem or not? Talking about another different question. The question is, a share that he canceled, can he now use it for a mitzvah? In other words, if it was not, before it was still a share, for sure he can use it. But once he was mevatel, can he use it or not? Meaning, there was a certain time where I couldn't use it because it was a shayr, it was a reserve. So now that I could use it, then do you say it was pushed away and you can't use it anymore? So what Tivshom in the Nan, it says, a person covered the blood of the animal, and then it was revealed, so then he doesn't have to cover it again. When the wind did it, he still has to cover it. It's only if it was revealed again. But if it wasn't revealed, the earth, the sand didn't move away, so it's covered. So what if it was revealed? There was a certain time that had no mitzvah. And the thing is, if the mitzvah goes away, means it's not there. You see from here that there's no dichutz of mitzvahs. Even though something became unapplicable to be done a mitzvah, still it can come back. Says the Gemara, the Papa Gufi Baile. This is where Papa is not so clear to us. Is it partial to Papa there's no dichutz of mitzvahs? Or he's not sure. That's why by Kisur Adam I have to cover it to go l'chumra. Because maybe there's no tichutz of mitzvahs. But who said you can be yaitz with the lulav? So that's the one mistake. We're not sure about that, so we don't have a record. It says the one boy papa. Hamishtachave lebehim. Someone bows down to an animal. Simro ma'u letchelis. Can I use the wool for tchelis? For the tchelis. Simro tchelis the mai. Which tchelis? In tchelis the koyanim. If we talk about tchelis the koyanim, meaning what's the issue? Do you want to use it for Beis Hamikdash? And the shaila is, can I use it for Beis Hamikdash? And maybe whatever I can use for Beis Hamikdash because yesh never do mechubar. But this is only a tashmish. This is only machshiri korban. It's not a korban itself. It's machshiri korban. I mean, this is the question we had in the previous daf on the top along with base. Before with base on top. What do we have in the previous daf on top? We had a discussion. If yesh never do mechubar, do we say that when it's connected because it has never? And if there is nevad, is it a problem only when it's a korban itself, or even when it is a machshiri korban? Says the Gemara, can I use the wool for tchelis? If it's tchelis of koyanim, that's the question of Arbacham. Can I use something for machshiri korban? The tchelis, the tzitzis, you talk about the mitzvah, the shaila is, did it go away the mitzvah because dichutz of mitzvahs? That's exactly the question by Ashero. Can I use the lulav for lulav or not? So why nechanami? You're right. The question was already we said. You don't have to repeat the question again. There's other things that we need to discuss over here. Meaning we want to discuss the details. That's one question that really depends on the previous question. Can I use the horns for chatzotzos, for the trumpets? Can I use the shaik, the drumstick for the flutes? Can I use the stomach or the strings of the stomach to do the kinnor? So can I use it for kelim? That was the question. For the ikrin of tchelis is not a question. We're talking about the kelim, and I do have a question. So the good one that says that's how you do shir. You have to use the kelim Meaning it's part of the Avoda. We said yesh never mechubar. It says the real singing is only mouth. You don't have to do. You don't have to have instruments. It's only just to add to the beautification of the music. That's the main question. Interesting point that the Torah says over here. The Torah says chatzaitzos are made out of the horns. Chatzaitzos are made out of metal. Shofar is made out. So why you say chatzaitzos here? It says the difference between chatzaitzos of the Kohanim and chatzaitzos of the Levim. The Kohanim, there was chatzaitzos with the carbon. That was made out of metal. But the chatzaitzos of the Levim, that they had many different instruments to sing with, they had also made out of wood. Person bows down to a river. Can I use the water to bring the base of English? What's the question? The question is he making the water of the Zara? Or he's making his reflection of the Zara? So he's bowing to himself. So he's bowing to himself, the water doesn't become the Zara. He's bowing down to the water, it doesn't become the Zara. So why have to speak about Nesachim and the river? Speak about, I have a cup of water, someone's mishtach with a cup of water, and the same question. Lehedrit, is it have the Zara or not? Really, we know he's bowing down to the water. Is he bowing down to what's in front of him? But the river, when the river goes, what do you have? The water in front of you now is not the same water you have a minute after. So it's a different water. Or he's bowing down to the entire water of the river. That's the discussion. So that's why the river should be different. And that's why it's only the Gavaya. Because the Hedrid is posture, that's okay. Says the Gemara, that's the Chud we should learn. So was it Momim Mitziri? Does it become Asr? We learned that water that belongs to the public doesn't become Asr. The water of a river belongs to the public. So the more the Tzricha, the Kanavi Ma'ari, it's coming from his own land. And Torah adds, from his own land, it doesn't go out to Rishus Rabbin. Because once it goes from his own land to Rishus Rabbin, it again belongs to the Rabbin. His own land, it doesn't belong to the Rabbin, and therefore, maybe it can be Yosef.
The Rabbin can't come into his land to pick.
No, but if the water is spilling out from his land, going out to the street, he's not allowed to stop it. So he doesn't own it. It belongs to the Rabbin, not from the place of the Nevi'ah, he kind of his land, but the water that flows out belongs to him.
Well, it's in his land, he owns it.
Yeah, he says, yeah, it tells you that's the ones because it'll be my Shurab. So the Mishnah, which means he's sharing a wall with the Zara. And it broke down the wall. Also, he can't build it because he's building a wall for the Zara. What should he do? He should go 4 amos into his Rishos, new Rishos, and then he goes basically out of this area, builds his own wall. The wall is half belongs to him and half belongs to the Zara. So now, what should he do? Meaning, what's the din? Says the Mishnah in Zara, so half of it is of the Zara and the half is his. He has to go 4 amos away from the half, not 4 amos away from the beginning of the wall, but from the half. Now the stones of this wall and the wood and the sand is b'tamik sheretz. Has a din of 2 sheretz. Shirema sheketz teshektenu loshen sheket loshen sheretz has a din of 2 sheretz. So they touch and become tummy. Which is more. What's the difference between nido and sheretz? Is a metame b'maso. When you pick it up, to become tummy. Shirema tizu kemoidovot setor maloi. We're comparing over the Zara to a nido. My nido metame b'maso. Avit kachom metame b'maso. Metame in a carrot. So if I'm putting the wall outside, I'm giving you more room for the Zara. I'm benefiting them. He's not making it more room. He's making a bathroom over there. But now I'm using it over the Zara again because I need the wall. Because I need to be covered when I go to the bathroom. It goes in the night, I don't need a wall. Person should act, but even in the night when nobody sees him, also in the way he's in the day, should have a wall. Even though we're not talking there in the bathroom, we talk about in the way, when a person walks in the way you should do it, it's used to buy the neighbor, you still have to be tznius. He's doing it for kids. And by kids, we're not so makbid over there for that tznius. He does have a wall, just the wall is made out of thorns. Not a very, so I don't need a bigger wall. The bigger wall doesn't really have me for tznius. So now, we're going to make a bisikise. The Avoda Zara doesn't really enjoy this part because there's a bisikise. Bisikise doesn't need the wall, so that's why I get out of all the issues. So the Mishnah. Shloisha Batimem. There's 3 houses in Latin and Israel. We have now a series of Mishnayos talk about these 3 things. Bait shebnoi mitchila v'skachovim. They build a house for Avoda Zara. Harezos. That's how much Avoda Zara. Sidoi v'kido v'skachovim. If he put plaster in it and painted it for Avoda Zara, v'chidesh, he added something to the wall. He removes the addition. So you have 3 types of houses. One house is a base of a Zara that you have to knock out. Another one is a regular house that they added to it. They painted it, they put designs in it. You take out what you added and then you're good. Then there's a third one where you put a Zara in the house. You took a house, you put a gachka over there. You take out the gachka, you're good to go. Says the Gemara.
You can't buy a house from a guy then?
You could. You take out the house, you take out the Avoda Zara. Exactly, that's the third case. You remove the Avoda Zara is out, you're good. So the person who bows down to a house makes it also. So even though you don't have a problem, you don't make a Avoda Zara something which is mechubar as we saw from the mountains, but here because it was bricks, stones, and he made it into a house, so it's also. It says by us that he built the Avoda Zara, not that he was mishtachel to Avoda Zara. So there's 2 ways to make a house of Avoda Zara. Either building it of Avoda Zara or bowing down to it of Avoda Zara. It was not 3 cases, 4 cases. There are 4 houses. 1 house that was built of Avoda Zara, 1 house that was added addition of Avoda Zara, 1 house that Avoda Zara was put into it, and 1 house that was worship of Avoda Zara. Says the Gemara, meaning it's the same thing. If you bow down to it or you build it for it, consider it to be Avoda Zara, and you have to remember it. Says the Mishnah. Now we're continuing the series of the 3s. So we had the 3 houses. Now we say Shosha Vonim, and there's 3 stones. And then Shechotzro Mitchilo Lebimus. He cuts it down he carves it out of the mountain to make it the bimus, which is the base of the Avoda Zara. Hareza Asur. And because of the Zara itself. Sido Vikido L'Sheres Kachavim. He painted it. He had plaster to it. He adds the addition and he's good. He put he added stone, he put on the stone of Avoda Zara. When he took it out, I raised him muteris. Then it becomes mutter. Again, very similar to the house. Says the Gemara, he has to go and paint not on top of the stone, but within the cracks of the stone. Says the Gemara, it has to be compared to the house. The house, how's the house? There's no cracks in the house. You put plaster on top. So that's not true because you have between the beams of the house, you also have the places that go inside. So he has to go like into the wall. It's not outside the wall. So when we look at skin, the shaya, how the shaya? I mean, why? Are we talking about he just added? He went and painted the house. They put a new paint. That's it. Says the Gemara, right? And as Rashi says, he plastered it once, he's doing it again. Says the Gemara, talk about going and canceling it. The person did plaster it on the wall, that becomes us. When you're canceling it,
Who's canceling it?
how do you cancel? How do you take it away? The Yid. It says the Yid can remove the plaster. Once you remove the plaster, you're good to go. Right?
He put the plaster on.
No, he didn't put the plaster. The plaster was the guy who put the plaster. We'll get that point in a moment. I'm going to put Avoda Zara, and now the Yid wants to take the plaster, you take the plaster, you move out. So, the Aflagav, this seed, the Kibbugu Shlefen, Kinota Mashichidish Avridami. Right? Once you take out the plaster, you're good to go. Even if the plaster is stuck into the cracks of the stone. I would think once he took out the plaster If the plaster went into the cracks of the stone, it's as if the stone was carved for that purpose. Kamash, we don't say that. Once you took it out, you're okay. So here's what you're mentioning. Rabbi Harry is mentioning over here. The Rashi repeats several times in this daf. And that is, depends who did it. If a Yid did it, there's no bitul. If a Yid did it, so it's... let's say he made a house over the Zara. Or he put up a Zara into it. Let's see a few examples that Rashi brings. Look at the second Rashi in the previous Mishnah, Reza Osir. Right? Rashi says Reza Osir. They call a bais Avoda Kechavim. It's Avoda Zara. If the guy did it, also Shevatlena. She toits meno ktsas. The guy can cancel over the Zara. If Yisrael did it, there's no, you can't take it away.
No.
That's the thing. The same thing is seed in the kiddur.
We just said he takes out the plaster.
No, even Yisrael. Seed also works. The seed is also loyal, but the stone is not. Because all he did is put plaster in it. So the plaster is also loyal. By the guy, the plaster may be mutter once he ruins it. By the Yid, look at go to Rashi's down. No Rashi. In Ba Yisrael Levatli, when it canceled the
finish is the original thing still remains mutter.
Yes.
Not like where we bow down to the house.
Right. The Yikr thing goes with her. Look at Lashon HaTamashchidish. So Rashi. In Ba Yisrael Levatli, Noita Mashichidish, Umutter Abais. Ve'ava Bishaloi Bitlo Kechavim, even though the Zohar down Vatli. Or if you know, Yisrael Yisrael Muma Sheres Kechavim Shal Betelo. HaChabata Shenesar Elachidush Va'u Chidush Shebatel Osur Ba'ano Eloi. So we're talking about that. And the plaster is also, if it's Yisrael. If it's a goy, depends. If the goy is mevatel, it's not also. If it's not mevatel, it's also. But I don't care, because once you put a plaster on the stone or on the house, and you move the plaster, the house itself, the stone itself is mutter. That's the second case of the house, and the second case of the stone, and that's the chiddush over here. And with this we end this daf.